everyone, and welcome to Issachar Inspiration, where wisdom and knowledge leads to transformation. It's your girl, Teacher Ronette. Listen, I am here to share with you a powerful word straight from the throne. I'd like to just thank my apostle and my pastor, my spiritual parents, Pastor Tony and Apostle Hall. I love you very much. If you are in the Grayson area, why don't you stop by 684 Grayson Parkway on Sundays at 11 a.m. where you are sure to receive a word from the Lord. And in case you're not in the Grayson area, how about you come on down to Facebook or YouTube and look up Power in Action Church on Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. where you can still receive the powerful word from the Lord. So this month at Power in Action Church, our theme for the month is Unscheduled Pentecost. I know. You're probably asking, what is an unscheduled Pentecost? Well, unscheduled is defined as sudden, unexpected, or unannounced. It is God's divine and sovereign intervention in human affairs. So when we talk about an unscheduled Pentecost, what we're talking about is God moving in a sudden moment, moving in an unexpected way, moving in an unannounced way, right? And so that's what an unscheduled Pentecost is. So on tonight, we're going to be looking at the book of Daniel. No, we're not going to be looking at Daniel in the lion's den. No, we're not going to be looking at the 3 Hebrew boys. Instead, we're going to be looking at King Nebuchadnezzar. Why King Nebuchadnezzar? Because King Nebuchadnezzar also experienced an unscheduled Pentecost, right? So in the book of Daniel, we find King Nebuchadnezzar is in chapter 2. He is under distress. He's under distress because of a dream that he has that nobody else can seem to interpret. So Daniel is called in to interpret the king's dream. So when Daniel interprets the king's dream, the king responds that Daniel's God, he acknowledges Daniel's God. I'm going somewhere with this. See, even an unbeliever can acknowledge when God is doing a thing, right? And so then when we look at chapter 3, and you can go back and read these chapters. This is chapters 2 through 4. So I'm just kind of paraphrasing, give you some sort of idea of what's going on and how King Nebuchadnezzar ended up with an unscheduled Pentecost. Okay, so in chapter 3, King Nebuchadnezzar is operating in the spirit of pride. See, that spirit of pride can cause us to think that we're doing things in our own way, in our own time, and we have it all together, and we don't need the help of the Lord. But I'm getting ready to show you what this spirit of pride can do. So King Nebuchadnezzar, he creates this golden image. And one of the decrees that he puts out is that when you hear this music, you are to bow down and worship this golden image. However, the 3 Hebrew boys, they hear the music, but they don't bow down. They don't worship. And because they don't do this, eventually they're thrown into the fiery furnace. Well, when they go into the fiery furnace, it's not just them there. God met them there, right? And so King Nebuchadnezzar, he says, I know I put 3 men in the fire, but there's a 4th man in the fire. How about that? How about God being the 4th man in the fire in your life? Well, anyway, there's 4 men in the fire. So this causes King Nebuchadnezzar to once again recognize the sovereignty and the protection of God. So eventually he ends up saying that this is the God of the 3 Hebrew boys. So now King Nebuchadnezzar has already had 2 encounters with the Lord. Two encounters. And he has acknowledged that God is the God of Daniel. He has acknowledged that God is the God of the 3 Hebrew boys. And now here we go in chapter 4. In chapter 4, King Nebuchadnezzar truly acknowledges God. And you can look that up in the first 3 verses of chapter 4. King Nebuchadnezzar then has another dream. And in this dream is the dream of a tree, a really powerful big tree. And it's feeding the birds and it's feeding the animals and life is great. Everything is good. But then the tree gets chopped down. So this dream causes King Nebuchadnezzar to once again become distressed. When he calls on Daniel, Daniel interprets the dream for him. Now I'm going to put a pin right there. God will use you to get his message across to those who are about to experience an unscheduled Pentecost in their lives, right? But it's up to them to take heed of the message. God also is not a respecter of person. God will do and choose whom he wants to choose and will do what he wants to do in your life. Okay, so now back to the interpretation. Daniel begins to interpret the dream and tell King Nebuchadnezzar, tell King Nebuchadnezzar what this dream means. So as King Nebuchadnezzar is going throughout his days, and we don't know exactly how many days it was between the interpretation and King Nebuchadnezzar being on the rooftop reflecting. But at any rate, King Nebuchadnezzar is on the rooftop. He's reflecting. He's looking over his great kingdom, and he's saying, you know, how powerful he is, how wonderful things are. And then God begins to speak to him. And God tells him that he, God, is the one that will raise up whom he chooses. He will also bring down whom he chooses. He will use whomever he chooses. So he also lets King Nebuchadnezzar know that he is going to fall, and he is going to spend a certain period of time eating the grass and having the heavens dew fall on him. So after this period of time, when King Nebuchadnezzar is restored, he then acknowledges that God is the Most High God. What is the moral of the story? King Nebuchadnezzar, he who was prideful, he who was arrogant, he who was a narcissist, he who was violent, ended up having an unexpected Pentecost. This was a king who did not believe in the same God of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He did not believe in that God. But because of God's divine intervention in his life, because God caused him to have an unexpected Pentecost, he went from calling the Most High God the God of Daniel, or the God of the three Hebrew boys, to the Most High God. He went on to acknowledge who God truly is. See, when God begins to move upon you and move in your life and do things that only God can do, you have no choice. We have no choice but to acknowledge him for who he truly is. He is a God of the unexpected. He is a God of the suddenly. He is a God of the unannounced. He will do with his divine sovereignty, he will do that which he pleases to do. But the theme is, the thing to remember is that when God calls an unscheduled Pentecost in your life, not only will it bring you to a place of acknowledging who God truly is, but it will also cause you to have a heart transformation. It will also cause you to have a mind transformation, so that you are no longer the old creature in Christ. You are now the new creature in Christ. You are the one that God is creating you to be. No longer do you subscribe to the ways of the world. No, you are no longer in the world. You just live there. I hope I'm making sense to someone. And I hope this is blessing you on tonight, because it surely blessed me. So I want to encourage you on tonight that if you are operating in your own might and your own spirit and your own power, I adjure you to get in the face of the Lord. Study his word. Pray. Seek his face. Not just his hand, but seek his face. And when you do that, know that an unexpected Pentecost will take place in your life. God bless. You all have a great evening.